Hi everybody. What time is it? 6 o'clock exactly, 6 in the morning. And I feel like doing a video. Why do I feel like doing a video? What the fuck, right? I don't feel anything at all approaching good, and I've done a video talking about this before. The fact that I think I come across my videos as doing, feeling, being a lot better than I am. I think it's a defense mechanism which is in place for good reasons and not so good reasons, because after all I am putting myself out there, and there's a strong need to be protective of self. There's a deep visceral sense of vulnerability that I feel. But it often galls me, actually. It does gall me, and it upsets me and it hurts me when I sense, and this is nobody's fault, by the way, right? Just because I feel really hurt by that or about that doesn't mean that it's anybody's fault, because that it isn't. It simply is the effect of how we've all been manipulated and maneuvered by the black hand, the dark generator, or that which is evil. And it kind of feeds into what I want to talk about. But that people, soul beings, people, they don't know what they don't know. And you get people that honestly think they're really suffering and they're really going through it, but they really are, you know, not some of us are really going through it. We have done our entire life. We've been in the firing line our entire life. The system, which is just a stupid fucking word, 2 words, whatever, for that which is pure evil, the dark generator, the black hand, call it whatever you like, has it in, especially for what I call the shining ones. I did a video called The Shining Ones. It targets certain people more, way more than others. These people just don't get to thrive. They don't get to thrive. They're filled with goodness, with creativity, with gifts, with abilities, with treasures, but they never get to utilize any of it, because they're blocked in every imaginable way. And there is, due to that, and due to it's like, because of the way we are treated in childhood, because how we're traumatized in specific, almost really specific, almost a mathematical sense of it, really, specific ways to traumatize us, to make us invite in abuse, to become, well, batteries, yeah, batteries. Because this entire system relies on our life force. It is a parasite. And I do these videos because I feel guided to. And increasingly, it's like my viewing figures are just going down more and more and more. It feels like nobody's interested. It feels like, why bother? It feels like, here you are, every day is a massive, massive struggle for me, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, call it whatever. It's so difficult And I'm doing videos, and there's a lot of people that think they're going through it, but they're really not, because it's nothing compared to what I'm going through. And that's just, I've noticed this over and over again, and it's almost like a mockery. People going on their holidays, like I talked about in my last video, you know. Oh, I'm going on holidays. It's like their third or their fourth holiday, and they're all happy and whatnot, but at the same time expressing that, oh, isn't life difficult? And I'm like, you are? Are you mocking me? They don't mean to, you know. It's not like they mean to do that at all. They're not the enemy, I know that, but it really fucking hurts, man. Wow. I mean, having stuff and having money and going on your holidays, being all happy in this hell realmscape, whatever the fuck, is not going to get you out of it. I know. Yesterday was off the charts for just absolute dark, horrible nastiness. It was appalling. It was so bad. I couldn't feel my light at all. There was a certain personage, Bible bashing, that was shot, which I look at that sort of thing not as a reality as such, because I'm more and more convinced that the true nature of this is more like a simulation. And if you see it on a screen, even if everybody buys into it and believes it, if it's in the paper, if you see it on the web, if the so-called social media or alternative media is talking about it and ranting about it and feeding it and reacting to it, doesn't mean it's real, doesn't mean anything. But there was a massive spike in the Schumann resonance, which is exactly, the Schumann resonance measures the morphic fields, i.e. the ether, i.e. consciousness, yeah. That's what it does. It's it's like a Geiger counter for consciousness, the ether, the morphic field. I came across a really lovely little video by a guy called RUPERT Sheldrake, who is a British guy. He's a scientist, he's a proper scientist, a real scientist, a genuine scientist. He's an investigator, you know, he's open and real and souled and alive, and he talks about the morphic field and talks about how it works in families. The morphic field being where you get a flock of birds like starlings that go like that, and you know, you've seen them in the sky, haven't you, where it's like, whoa. Animals do this very often. Nature does this very often. A school of fish, all that in one direction all at the same time. Humans do this, soul humans do this. It's called the morphic field. It's measured by the Schumann resonance, and when it spikes like it did around 9/11, when that happened, and funnily enough this incident happened around the same time, because of course they like to do that sort of thing, you know. It's they just can't help themselves, man. They just repeat, it's the same shit over and over and over again. Modus operandi, the same, because it's not creative. So it can't deviate from its, you know, behavioral program. It's dead, it's not alive, but it is within the morphic field. It exists, this distortion exists within the morphic field. And it has existed because of the morphic field, the ether, the consciousness being in a semi-comatose, catatonic-like state. So everybody just goes along to get along, 5 years ago, the PSYOP has somehow flicked a switch, and now there's videos everywhere on YouTube, people saying about how horrible people are, how horrible life is, how horrible this, and it's all true, it's all true. It's not true that all people are horrible and mean and selfish bastards. That isn't true. That's the Black Hand trying to hijack truth-telling. It wants us to believe that everything is bad, and that everyone is bad, and that we are bad, and that there is no hope, and there's no way out, and that we're all fucked, and we're all screwed, and we're all worthless, and we shouldn't exist at all. It wants us to feel that and believe that and live like that. It wants us to be antagonistic. It puts, because it moves through the morphic field, it wants us, it puts notions in our head. It's like I had it, yesterday I was speaking to my friend and I was putting notions in my head. He's thinking this about you. He thinks that about you. He feels like this about you. And it made me feel angry, antagonistic, reactive. I did react, got angry, and it was all a pack of lies. I completely had the wrong end of the stick. It was like, no, that's not at all what's happening here. It was actually a really good thing, but the Black Hand made it look and feel, to all intents and purposes, like a really bad thing. This is what it does. It distorts. Oh, there's Slanted and Enchanted. That was an album by The Pavement, a band I used to like. Slanted and enchanted, and that is exactly what it is. We're slanted and enchanted. It's black magic. This is nothing new. The reality that we are given via television back in the 40s, was it the 40s or 50s? That's when television really took off. And in the 60s, 70s, 80s, everybody, all families gathered in living rooms instead of in the cinemas. And one of my favourite films, Cinema Paradiso, it's an Italian film and it's set in Sicily. And it starts in the not the 30s, like the 50s, I think. And it's all about a cinema, and it's such a beautiful film. But the ending of that film is so telling. It's where the cinema is demolished and there's a great big car park instead with ads, these horrible ads of really thin women and perfumes and meaningless, horrible, demonic garbage. And that place, that cinema, and the Sicilian women doing something with dried flowers and the sense of community. The whole community gathering in the cinema, laughing, screaming, shouting, full of life, and eating food, and boys ogling girls, girls ogling boys, and the priest goes rapping every time somebody was kissing. That has to be cut out. The guy that the projectionist has to cut out every time somebody kisses, or whatever. It's alive. Yes, it's slanted and enchanted as well, but it's alive and it's beautiful and it's creative and there's still life there. And then the end of the film, they're there and it's grey and it's dead. And that beautiful building, that cinema, these old cinemas are being demolished, and the people are stood there and the guy's crying. He's old now, his hair is grey, and this is what has happened to this world. Slowly, little by little by little by little, it has become generic, ugly, dead. I was on Facebook the other day and it was a meme. Well, meme, again, what does that even mean? It's a meme, it's a meme. There were two photos next to each other. One was of a lamp post that was ornate and beautiful. I mean, just a work of art, with angels and curlicues and beautiful, made of cast iron, just stunning. And next to it was a lamppost that we have today, like just a pole with a thing, and that's it. Dead, ugly. I said this before, so it's like the world's turned into a giant, generic airport lounge. It's an invasion. that which is dead is like a simulation, and it's invaded Eden, the Garden of Eden, such as this place once was. But here's the thing as well, that, and I know by looking at the photographs of a woman called Vivian Meyer, who took a shitload of fantastic, really, really great photographs, and there's a really good documentary called Finding Vivian Meyer that you should watch if you can. Her photos were found by accident in a storage locker and so forth and so on. Long story, but that's not the point. She took a lot of really good photographs that show us that life was always slanted and enchanted, that people were fucked up and distorted, selfish, uncaring, not seeing, comatose, catatonic, alcoholic, heroin addicted, crack addicted, violent, broken, distorted. They were in the 50s, they were in the 30s, they were in the 60s, they were in the 90s. But somehow it's all here now. It's all here now. We're seeing it now, we're getting it more, we're feeling it viscerally, and it fucking hurts. It's like, wow, how selfish you are. Here you are jabbering on at me about your holidays and about this and that. People talking to me, oh, it's so, life's so hard, you know, and I'm like, you haven't got a fucking clue. I want to stop and I want to tell them what my days, my weeks, my months are like. What I'm going through, what I'm feeling, but I don't feel like I ought to, because it's like describing a room in a house they've never been in, and they're not going to get it. And the lack of compassion and the lack of empathy now is shocking, truly appalling. People are really going through it. There was a lady yesterday, I had my hair cut, and there was a woman there that I knew from somewhere, and it was like, hey, don't I know you? Oh yeah, right. And we ended up talking, and she's going through it, man, massively. And I really feel that. I really feel that. And I told her to go and see her doctor and ask for a specific medication. And say what you like, oh, we shouldn't, and oh, big pharma, and sometimes, you know, you need something for a little bit. And this woman needed something, and that I know will help her, and that is not quite as toxic as other stuff, being a way older medicine, and, you know, whatever. It's like, often enough, you know, this is what we're used to, innit? We're used to hearing stories of terrible suffering and misery. We see stories of terrible suffering and misery. They're drilled into our consciousness via the screens, via television, and before that even in the cinemas. But it was different then, because people were together. There was community and communion, and people had more love and support for each other. But then people separated. That fissures appeared in society alongside television, because people stopped going out there and communing. Instead, people were indoors watching a television telling them a shitload of pack of lies, and there was a shitload of subliminal messaging going on, which is how the black hand weaves its way through the morphic field. That is consciousness, that is the ether, that people were not aware of. Subliminal messaging, big time programming, nasty, horrible, evil stuff that has a massive impact on the way people think and the way people feel and the way people behave towards themselves, towards each other, towards nature, towards animals, right? And they were in their homes. They were no longer out there communing in the cinemas. They were in their home, being influenced and manipulated, slanted and enchanted. Now things were already bad, no doubt about it. They want us to believe it was really, really bad and that things have gradually gotten better, which is a fucking lie. Things were a lot better and they've gradually gotten a lot worse. And every time we have a reset, I've said this before, the past changes, right? So, while some go on about Tartaria, and I do believe that to be an actual thing, and mud floods and orphan trains and all that, and I do believe that to be a thing. Flat Earth, I do believe that to be a thing. I've never believed in a globe anyway, it's a complete load of bullshit, obviously so. But we have a shitload of different pasts. We have the past that we have now, because I remember being in various different places that fit with our current-ish history, but I also remember being in places that fit with histories that were in place before the last reset, and so forth and so on. It's become very convoluted. People have been selfish and unkind and slanted and enchanted for a long time. People are used to seeing a shitload of misery and a shitload of suffering that there is nothing they can do anything about. So you end up suffering from compassion fatigue, empathy fatigue, because when you are again and again and again assaulted, brutalized and violated with images of terrible suffering that you can do absolutely nothing about, even your friends, your relatives, your whatever hero, yourself, often enough, there is shit going down and there is not a fucking thing that you can really do about it. You can empathize, you can support, you can say, I see you, I feel you. Also knowing that, yeah, I see you and I feel you and I see that, I think you are really going through it way more than me. But I can't really understand it, because I have not been there. You could at least make that effort. That's called putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. I do that on a regular basis. I think it's important. A lot of people don't bother doing that. But you see all that terrible suffering and misery, and you kind of have a sense almost of guilt. And that's misplaced as well, because it's not your fault that you're not suffering as much as him or her or they or them. See? You're not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. The enemy is that black, poisonous, black hand, dark generator that weaves its way through the morphic field. And it's always needed for us to be asleep. Sleep, sleep. Right? Because it can really only exist in the darkness. It cannot exist in the light. And when the consciousness awakens and wakes up and go, whoa, 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 what the fuck? What's going on? It's like you've had a really bad nightmare and you wake up and it's like, whoa. It begins to, right? And I can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it. It's like yesterday, the 10th, 2 days ago, when this incident supposedly happened. It's the same modus operandi Hegelian dialectic bullshit where, remember, it used to be the conservatives who were the bad guys, you know, the Bush administration and the war on terror and all that. Meaning that what they really want is they want to whip up terror. They want us all to be terrorized, and we are terrorized. We're all filled with abject terror every day, and those soul beings that aren't fucking doing that in a row, they don't even fucking know that. I know, because shit happens to me that has really put me in touch with that. Survival mode. It's called survival mode, but it really is just, it's terror. That's what it is, right? I've made some notes because it's early and I'm really tired. And I mean, oh God, Do you see what I mean? It's just like a torch, right? So you turn it on, and then you have to do all this just to switch it back off again. Fucking what? Oh my god. Oh, we care about your phone call. Please stay on the line whilst we connect you with an agent. 3 hours later, and having had a kind of form of brain surgery with a rusty knife in the woods and a blind bear. Do you know what I mean? Hello? And then subsequently you get disconnected, so you've got to, because you've got to make the phone call, because you've got to get through somebody. Yeah? That puts you in a certain type of mood to go out on a killing spree and take it out on those who are not the enemy. You see how that works, don't you? They fuck with us in every imaginable way. They fuck with the consciousness in every imaginable way. And because we don't realise what's going on, right? Vivian Meyer's photographs show us that even back in the 50s, shit was fucked up. In a really, really bad way. And in some ways things have gotten better. You know, they have. And in some ways things have gotten a lot worse. And it's kind of exponential, and it's all connected. Because it's a journey that we are on. The collective soulness, the morphic field, the ether, is on a journey to detox itself from this parasite. It's weird because, oh, I don't know how long ago, about 6-7 years ago, I think I did a video. Because I had a dream, and I saw these little grey fish-like beings. They were grey, and they had these great big black eyes, like the greys, right? But they were like little fish beings, and they were gasping. And it was weird, and I wrote it down in my dream book. And then later on that day I went out, and guess what? I came across a metallic, what's the word I'm looking for? Statue of a grey fish, which is down the road from here, still there, with a great big black eye. The eye was made black by a graffiti artist, because it's a skater park, you see, and they made the eyes black, but it was unmistakable, and it was Maverick effect, and it's saying yes, yes, pay attention. It was the consciousness parasite, and it manifests on the external as those grey beings that are absolutely up to no good and are evil incarnate and so forth and so on, because there's all these figments. It's not real in the sense of what we think of as real. It isn't. It's not. And that is why we have the so-called Mandela effect, because you're not in the same reality from one moment to the next, you know. Have you ever noticed changes in your body? Oh, I had a scab there, it's not there today. Or, hey, that scar was there and now it's down there. That doesn't make sense. It's different every fucking day. And I think that's a good thing. But things have never been good for a very long time. Things have the fall, boom, more and more and more pronounced. And yet, in a way, it's already hit rock bottom, and it's already on the way up, I feel. Because healing is never going to be a case of, oh, we all just start feeling better. Just a minute, guys, I'm just going to draw the blinds up a bit. You know, it wasn't going to be a case of, oh, now we all just feel better and that's it. It was always going to be a journey of discovering exactly what evil is, what it has done, what has happened here and why. A temporary state of affairs whereby the consciousness separated itself, as it were, from the light of the Creator, the true God, infinite, unconditional, all-encompassing love and harmonious creation, to stand on his own 2 feet and say, well, I don't want to be beholden to the Creator. I want to do my own thing. sort of thing. Paradoxically, it was a mistake. It's a terrible fucking mess, but it's also profoundly meaningful, and I do feel that it's all going to be all right. I could be wrong about that, but I don't see the point of languishing in defeatism, because I know exactly where that gets us, you see. But yesterday was just horrific, so bad, I felt so depressed. The psychic attack was violent. So difficult. Transmutations. Whew. But the sort of the version of life, reality, ugh, what a horrible word, right? It's a horrible word. The version of reality that we get from even before TV, art. I remember art becoming really ugly round about the sort of, just after the First World War, everything became really square instead of round, really ugly. That's when it really set in. It catches in on these wars, you see, it's louche. Food, and it gets to create a shitload of horrible nastiness. Ergo, after the First World War, art became uglier. And the Second World War, wow, we've never looked back. But like I said, the notion that you get from these films, it was like the other day, there was a film on Netflix, I thought, well, I'll have a look at it, and it was just an absolute piece of garbage about these people in an old people's home, which is like, oh, it's wonderful to be old and we are, you know, and it's like, it's a complete and utter lie. It's a complete and utter lie. There's nothing wonderful about old age. It is a disease. It isn't meant to be at all. It's not meant to exist at all. The only reason you grow old is because your life force is being fed off and you're being drained of your life force, and you know, and all these kind of like, oh, we're all such good friends and everything always works out, and when friends fall out they get back together and focus on the solution and work things out and remain friends and are the better for it, because actually mostly I find that doesn't happen at all. I look at human beings and the way they behave. I've looked at animals and the way they behave. I saw pigeons having a fight out there the other day. You fall out, friends fall out, and they don't make up, and they don't apologise, they don't ask for forgiveness, they don't get back together and say, let's talk about this, and you know, because I want to stay friends, I care about you, and I think I got it wrong, and I'm really sorry to have hurt you, vice versa, whatever, however. Nothing is solution focused at all. People fall out, they fell out, they don't talk to each other anymore. It's the same with families. People are fucking distorted and broken. People are filled with bile. And they don't work things out. And they don't aim for healing and for resolving and solutioning. They don't, for the most part. They really don't. All these feel-good films, they are a bit of a lie. They're a lie. It does exist. Things like that do happen, but they're actually quite rare. For the most part, things are fucking fucked up. They are. Things often enough don't work out okay. They don't. Bad things happen to people. And they leave us in a state of abject terror, expecting something bad to happen all the fucking time, that we then dissociate from, right? We don't want to know. Don't want to know. Don't want to feel that way. Yes, but that's what life is. Shit happens all the time. Anything could happen. You might get cancer and die in agony. You might not be able to afford to live, what it is. It's survival mode, and those are just two words. Survival mode. But when you're truly awake and truly doing your inner work, and when you have experienced a lot of really extreme misery and targeting and horribleness in your life, you're gonna know what I mean when I say that survival mode is a dreadful, dreadful, horrendous state of existence, and that we all exist in. We're either aware of that, varying degrees or not, but it's really, really bad. It means terror. The war on terror. Meaning we want you all to be utterly terrified at all times. They're doing it to us, The figments, right? It was, back in the day, it was the conservatives that were the bad guys, the Bible bashers. We believe in God. The Punisher, the God of the Bible, cruel, puts you in hell to suffer forever if you do not give him his due. He wants to be worshipped. He wants to be told by everybody, all his creations, how wonderful he is. He's a narcissist and a psychopath. So many people are becoming Christian again. Because this is a Hegelian dialectic. I call it tennis, and it's also kind of like an element of the Alice in Wonderland technique. It used to be they were the bad guys, and if you were on the left, that meant you were the good guys, and now it's the left that is the bad guy, and everybody has bounced off that and are back at square one, being Bible-bashing conservatives. Right? So, you used to be the good guy if you were gay, and now you're the bad guy if you're gay, and it's this, that and the other, and I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of people not getting that and not seeing that. I'm so sick of people thinking that, oh, it's big, they do it for money. Yeah, big pharma, it's all about money. Oh. But yeah, you've got to be patient with the normies. The morphic field, the morphic resonance, the Schumann resonance, the ether, free energy, and what it's like to really be in a firing line, because you have this ability and capacity to really get what this is, and by getting it you can heal it. And by healing it, you pose a direct threat to the forces of evil, and so, right? Oh, ergo, there's those of us with these little YouTube channels that have good, powerful content that are heavily shadow banned. And you get these nasty comments. I got this comment today. It was like, you what? Very strange. I just block. Block and delete. Goodbye. The books, you know, these generic books, these generic writers, where the hero or the heroine of the story always wears Prada and is a tax accountant who goes on an adventure, and it's like it's always a reinforcement of mundanity and whatnot. But you do find that inevitably there's meaning within it as well. It's interesting. We're getting to a point where we realise, because it's being shown very clearly, and when people can't afford it anymore as well, but we're being shown very clearly that stuff, Prada shoes, Chanel suits, a big car is not gonna fulfill your innate need of meaning and aliveness, purpose and freedom and liberation and healing. It ain't gonna do that. It was at best a plaster over a festering wound. And there's no more plasters because the wound is now so obvious and smelly and festering that it's just not going to work anymore, right? So you either face the facts here, you face your inner, you face your emotions, you face your behavior. How does your behavior affect other people? How much empathy do you really have? I find, and this really annoys the absolute heck out of me, is that nowadays it's fashionable to think of yourself as an empath. Oh, I'm such an empath. I come across people that think they're empaths and I know they're nothing of the kind. Having sympathy for somebody does not make you an empath. An empath is being a psychic sponge. It's not a pleasant experience and it's not something that you can stop or actually really have any kind of control over. It's why people, beings like myself, avoid crowds. I do not do crowds. I don't go to shopping centres. I don't go to town centres. I don't go to conferences. I don't go to fucking... There's this wedding extravaganza business all over town. Or churches. I don't go to churches. I don't go to meetings. I don't do any of that. I don't even do Zoom meetings or any of that because, oh boy, it affects me in a massive way. I soak up other people's shit. You end up in a place not knowing what's yours and what isn't. It's a very difficult thing to be an actual empath. You're a transmuter. You are what I call a kind of like a sin eater. There's an X-Files episode where this guy literally eats people's disease. He eats them and then he vomits them out and they are remade free of disease. That is kind of what it's like being an empath. You absorb this fucking disease, the sickness that lies at the heart of consciousness, and you transmute it. And it fucks me off often enough because it's almost like you're a martyr because you're doing the work that others are supposed to also be doing but fucking don't. And you think to yourself, what the fuck, here I am on my fucking hands and knees and you don't even get what I'm going through. You think you're going through it, but you're not going through it at all. You think you're an empath, but you're nothing of the kind. It's like the hygienist. Oh, I'm an empath, you know, and the dentist. And I thought, no. Yes, sympathy, but for people, but that's not the same. That's not being an empath. That's not what that is. Not at all. I had a conversation with somebody talking about shamanic empathy. It's a very shamanic thing, and it is. That is what it is. Ultimately, that is what it is to be an empath. You tune into, without knowing, realizing, you tune into the morphic field, the ether, and you know, beyond any language, what is going on. You're a transmuter, you're a sin eater, you're a shining one, and you've had it hard. Because that is what has enabled you to get it intrinsically, viscerally. To see, to know what this is and the suffering, what that is, what that really feels like. The terror that we exist in, that is called survival mode, in this horrible place where this beast system thing has invaded the Garden of Eden and has brutally, violently subjugated all soul beings. Feeding off us, you have to pay to live. Anything can happen at any time. You better expect the worst. It's the only way to stay safe. It's food, it's loosh, fear, hate, rage, insanity. That shit's got to be transmuted. It's got to be purged. It's got to be neutralized, dissolved. That's what I'm doing. It's horrifying what this is. It's horrifying. Came across, there was this film, Watership Down. It's done, I think, in the late 70s or the early 80s. It's a cartoon. It's anime, whatever. Rabbits. Right? It's a beautiful book. I love the book. And the film is really, really good. All these rabbits. There's Fiver, who is psychic, is a psychic rabbit, and he sees that the warren is going to be destroyed, and he tells all the other rabbits, we need to leave this place, we need to leave this place and find a new home. And some believe him and they go with him, Hazel being one of them, and Bigwig. But the other rabbits say, oh, you're full of shit, that's not going to happen. And of course there's a massive housing development that takes place, and all the rabbits that stay are killed. And that's what this world is. There's housing developments, ticky-tacky housing developments being built everywhere for these dead people. The generic people, the genericness is soul destroying almost. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. So if you think you're an empath, examine yourself. Are you? Are you really? Believe me, it's not an enviable state of affairs. If you are truly an empath, then you are also a sin eater. Then you will have been in the firing line your whole life. You will be super smart, super sensitive, even as a child. I was so sensitive as a child, I stopped being able to eat because I was that upset by what I saw around me on a daily basis, how I saw people treat each other even then. People were not kind for the most part, and they're not kind now. People are selfish. I think that's kind of like often enough a trauma response as well. I do tend to focus on forgiveness because I know hating people for being selfish and self-absorbed is pointless. Because people are that way for a reason, and it's not because they're evil or when they're sold, it's because it's a trauma thing, you know. But being an empath is tough going. It really, really is. It's really tough talking about how you feel and what you're going through, because you expect people to be nasty, to be mean. Just like that comment I got. The video that I did was, can't remember, is it? It's one I did outdoors. Just a minute guys, bear with me. The trauma craze, you know, from the trauma craze to self-power sanity. I talk about the torture that is taking place here, which is exactly what it is. And somebody thought that was funny for some reason, so block and delete. There is a nasty, spiteful underbelly to the psyche. Selfish, nasty, vicious, and that's just pure, that's evil. Demonic. And that is why people feel the absolute need to protect themselves, and that's why people don't want to talk about how they're feeling. And when you're online, see what I mean? I don't like that expression. Or the web, do you remember? It used to be called the World Wide Web. Online, inevitably when you Zoom or Skype or conduct any kind of relationship, communication via email, through the screen, it is tainted. Something happens to it. And it's a very different kettle of fish from sitting next to somebody in the physical, sharing and communing. Even that is difficult, but that is less under the influence than when you communicate with people through the screen, via email or via Skype or via your comments on Facebook or Messenger on Facebook or whatever. It just, something hijacks it, because it's part of the morphic field, the morphic resonance. It's in the poison, you know. It's nasty. It's very difficult. It doesn't want us to commune with one another. It doesn't want us to commune with ourselves. It needs us to be in avoidance at all times from self. It doesn't want wholeness, completion within self. And it certainly doesn't want us to commune with one another either. It wants us to be horrible to ourselves. It wants us to be horrible to each other. Selfish, spiteful, cruel, nasty. It's very adamant now, and it's very violent now. Which means it's desperate. Because when evil's happy, it doesn't feel like that. So the point of this bloody video today, I guess, is go within. We have been brutally victimized here, there is no doubt about it, and I left a comment below somebody's video the other day talking about how it doesn't serve us to stay with victimhood, but I think I was slightly amiss, because what I did not mention, Trey, hi, was the fact that we have been brutally, massively victimized here, that everything has been taken from us, stolen from us. Everything that we could have had, done, been, experienced for the greater good as well as ourselves has been taken away from us, has been stolen from us, and we have been brutally forced on our fucking hands and knees. Yeah? Whilst others have been allowed some goodness. So there we are, that's true, and that's got to be felt. What does it feel like to have been thus treated by this evil filth? It's absolutely beyond words, and it's really, really bad, and I've been feeling that these last 3-4 days. It's been really, really bad. Really, really, really bad. But at some point you need to stop wallowing in the victimhood, because we cannot stay there. We can't stay with that. We've got to acknowledge it, we've got to feel it, and that can take a little while, quite a while, and then we've got to transmute it, because people can be cruel, nasty, spiteful, selfish, self-absorbed. People can make you feel like absolute shit, and you don't really have any control over that, nor can you go back and change the past. You can choose to love yourself, to hold yourself, and to do your soul retrieval work, and to keep fucking healing, because as you heal this evil that lies at the heart of it all, that has infected our beautiful Garden of Eden, that has infected the morphic field, the ether, our consciousness, as we sin eat and transmute that, we heal everything. Because that is the good news, you see, in it. Evil works its way through that which is all connected, the water, the sea, the morphic field, the ether. But those of us who are here to do what we are doing, the sin eaters, the engineers of healing, what we do similarly affects the morphic field. It is a healing covenant. And I feel strongly that some of those subscribed to my channel here, listening to my videos, are the sin eaters, the transmuters of the sickness, the true empaths. And that we are here to do this, to heal this once and for all. It's got to be done. And I guess that's it for today. That's it for today. All my love to all of you.